Hey, good morning everybody. Welcome back to our morning walk. Fancy's out here. We did not go very far this morning. Number one, a little late getting out of bed. It's Monday morning. Number two, Fancy had to stop every 10 feet and mark the trail, let everybody know that she was here. So we just kind of took it at a leisurely pace. I thought that this morning I would talk about a subject that's on a lot of people's mind. And it's kind of the opening scene where the little crossroads. That's kind of where we are right now. And I was reading an article this weekend about the BRICS company. That's the Brazil, Russia, India, China, that group of countries. We're all doing nuclear disaster drills, or they've got them planned, and they're Fancy just yanked my arm. They've got them planned, and they're going to be doing them in the near future if they haven't already done them. And there's been a lot of talk on the world stage. Russia loves talking about dropping nuclear weapons if such and such happens. All this stuff, and most of it's saber rattling. Let's be quite honest. Most of it is saber rattling. And as a Gen Xer, I'm concerned about it, but I'm not losing any sleep about it because, you know, we grew up, us Gen Xers, in an era where a school desk was considered apt protection against a nuclear blast. You guys, any of you guys remember that? Doing the drills in grade school where you crawled underneath the desk and you waited for the teacher just to give you the all clear. You know, those are the things that we did. And it was always in the back of our mind. That was a huge topic during the 80s. I mean, you guys, if you're new to the channel, thank you for showing up. This is our morning walk. We just talk about different things. Think about subscribing, but also go out and check out a couple of movies from the 80s. The first one is an American movie called The Day After. And it is a pretty good representation of what a nuclear war might look like in middle America. Another American movie to go watch is called Testament, and it's not your typical nuclear war movie, but it's very moving and it's very sobering. And then the last one, this is one that you should definitely go check out. This one is on YouTube for free also. It's called Threads, and it's the story of a nuclear war from Britain's standpoint. And it's a very, very very depressing movie. But these three movies, you know, they all came out because the threat of a nuclear war in the early 80s was real. In fact, you know, a lot of people don't realize this, but the only reason why we made it out of the 80s without a nuclear war is because of one single man, a colonel in the Russian missile forces. So they were on duty, monitoring their radar systems, and they got multiple launch detections. They got multiple launch detections that America was launching a nuclear strike against the Soviet Union. And this guy received orders to launch his missiles, and he said no because he was not 100% certain. We got to stop. Fancy's taking a break. He was not 100% certain that it was a true attack, and thank God this guy's cool head prevailed because it was a false positive. There was no nuclear attack, obviously, and this guy basically saved the world from a nuclear holocaust. You know. So we fast forward to today, and you've got multiple countries developing nuclear weapons. You've got multiple countries talking about nuclear weapons. And these countries that are saying that they'll use nuclear weapons seem to have one thing in common. It's the fact that they want to take over other people's property and want to subjugate these people. And they feel it's their right. You know, and I realize it's kind of hypocritical coming from an American, the way our government's behaved over the last 40, 50 years. But it is a thing. All right, so like I said, I'm not losing any sleep over it. I am concerned. Oh, here we go. Here we go. She's found another spot. Dog's gonna dehydrate herself on this walk. But we fast forward to today, and there's a lot of people that are really, really concerned about this. And I'm not gonna say rightfully so. Yeah, but it's prudent. Let's put it that way. It's prudent to be concerned about this. And you know, we growing up in the 80s, aside from the odd person that had a fallout shelter and the guys that were survivalists, you know, they're called preppers now, but the survivalists back in the 80s were a different breed. You know, most people did not really prepare for the eventuality of something like a nuclear war. So that's the cool thing about today, is we've got the ability to prepare somewhat. I would suggest getting some iodine tablets, because that will help keep from getting radioactive poisoning. That will help deter that. And you know, there's all kinds of publications out. They've released the Army manuals about nuclear war defenses and stuff like that. I mean, the ability to find the information to take care of it is out there. You know, is it? How do we want to look at this problem? Is it possible? Yes, it's always possible, for the simple fact that nuclear weapons exist. Is it probable? Wide-scale nuclear war, in my mind, not very probable. And I'm no international expert. You know, there might be some sort of craziness that's infected all the people that are supposedly running the show, that they decide that a nuclear war may be a good idea. But I think for the most part, there's not many people out there that want to incinerate millions of people with nuclear weapons. Now, from an American standpoint, I think the probability of some rogue nation or some terrorist organization detonating a dirty bomb, and if you don't know what a dirty bomb is, it's just a conventional bomb that's surrounded by radioactive materials, and they blow it up and vaporize it, and they create a little mini nuclear disaster, basically. Yeah, I think that's a distinct possibility. It's unfortunate that we've gotten to the point where, through open borders and poor law enforcement, that this has become a very distinct possibility. Very distinct possibility. The bad guys have the ability to do it. They have the desire to do it. And they've been given an opportunity to do it. Excuse me. And the fact that it hasn't happened yet is really nothing short of a miracle, to be honest with you. You know, and you know, one of the reasons why we moved out here to this location, one of the deciding factors was what happens in the event of a nuclear war or something like that. We are... Oh, what you got? Fancy, stop. Sorry about that. There were some critters that took off down along that field, and she got all into it. She's alerted on them. And I can't tell if they were deer or a couple of wild dogs. It was so fleeting. Anyway, so that's what I guess the whole idea behind this talk on this walk is the prudence of thinking about it and preparing for it. And let's be honest, rank and file people like us, if a full-scale nuclear war happens, all our plans are going out the window, and our limited ability to prepare for something that massive will, well, at best it'll buy us some time. At worst, they'll be completely useless. Let's be honest about it. It doesn't mean that we don't prepare for something like this, but we have to be realistic in our expectations. You know, and if I'm able to get an extra 6 months time for my family because I prepared for something like this, for a nuclear war, then I've got 6 months more to try to survive than somebody who hasn't prepared, or somebody that lives in the middle of a nuclear target. Yeah, it sounds. I understand. I understand that all this sounds kind of depressing, but it's something we need to talk about, and it's something we need to think about. You know, and the whole idea behind our channel and what we're trying to get across here is being able to weather things like this. You know, I say things like this, and I don't necessarily mean a nuclear war, but adversity. Being able to weather adversity through the power of community and having food independence and being modernly self-reliant. All right, listen, we're almost back to the gate. You guys, give me a comment down below. Let me know, as a Gen Xer, what are your remembrances of growing up under the shadow of nuclear annihilation, and what advice would you give to people on not only dealing with it physically, but dealing with it from a mental aspect, and not letting it rule your world? You know, because if you can get a handle on a nuclear war mentally, then something like a economic downturn or a big blizzard, yeah, mentally that's not much of a challenge once you've mastered nuclear war, or something like nuclear war. So go ahead and give us some ideas down in the comments below. Like I said, if you're new to the channel, thanks for making it this far in the video. Go ahead and consider hitting the subscribe button. Come join us on our journey towards a life done free. You can help the channel out by hitting the affiliate links down below and sharing these videos out with other people. Most importantly, the thing you can do, in my mind, that is most important, that the way you can help us, is by go living a life done free. Take care. Thanks, Milo.